Hi everyone, it's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology, and today I'm here to talk about the Libra new moon solar eclipse, which is happening today and here on the East Coast, or on the West Coast rather, at 11:49 a.m. So this Libra new moon solar eclipse, the solar eclipses are about the future. It's about what the sun is kind of showing us for the future. And the Libra new moon is about something very hopeful, right? Planting a new seed and kind of seeing how that can kind of take root for us. So we have the new moon in Libra, so this can definitely talk about relationships because Libra rules the 7th house of partnerships. So here with this Libra new moon, something is out of balance and something needs to be left behind. And this is also known as the South Lunar Eclipse. We have the South Node right here, and it is forming a stellium with these other planets. And so this is about learning from the past. The new moon eclipse will be about establishing balance in your life. It could be about any partnership as well, or about how you relate to others. It doesn't always have to be a romantic relationship. If you've ignored something that needs harmony or fairness or needs to be kind of balance, needs to be restored, perhaps you can no longer ignore that with the new moon and the solar eclipse, right? And so eclipses are associated with radical changes in direction and also timeouts as well. And we have a lot of retrograde planets here, and they are marked with the red, which is, which can indicate a time for slowing down. Sometimes it can indicate the opposite of the kind of the planetary energy there. But for me, it's more like slowing down, taking a time to kind of, feel things and look at things with wisdom, right? Yeah, with patience perhaps as well. All right, so the eclipses are associated with radical changes in direction and timeouts. As I mentioned, they're related to world events, the rise and fall of leaders, social movements in history, the birth and death of famous people, inventions, and so on. So we can say that they are more for the collective. But this is special, right? Because this is about how we relate in our partnerships. So here we have the stellium taking place in Libra, where we see the South Node, the Sun, Lilith, the Black Moon, and the New Moon in Libra, and Mercury. The New Moon can be a time of clarity as the Sun is joining forces with the Moon, which is about something hopeful, as I mentioned, while a lunar eclipse has more to do with the past. So the Sun, Lilith are all at a perfect conjunction at 10 degrees of Libra. Lilith is about things we don't necessarily like about ourselves. It can be our shadow self, if you will, and things that we might not want other people to see. Lilith conjoining the Sun lets us see what we don't like so we can either change it or accept it on some level. There's some type of, with this Libra new moon, there's an energy here to protect yourself and to create fairness in your own life, without actually, giving up your own sanity or your own, giving up what is important to you as well. So on Lilith, we can, we could be overextending ourselves, and we're able to see that now and let it go. We might be able to see the dark side of others as well with Lilith here in Libra. The midheaven is in Virgo, and let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is right here next to Lilith, and which is next to the moon. Is it not? Next to the sun and then the moon. And so Mercury is here joining forces so that we can use our intelligence and also our feelings with the moon, or our intuition to some degree. Mercury is showing us right here to not be overly emotional and like kind of be a little practical right there with Mercury. So the midheaven is in Virgo right here. Here is Virgo. telling us that we need to be practical about matters at work and matters related to our daily life, matters of health, and to analyze and think things over. At the time of the new moon, there are 11 oppositions here. It's hard to see all of them. They're kind of on top of each other. But these oppositions are mainly between the Libra and the Aries axis, the nodal axis here, which is trying to basically bring us toward our fate or what we are striving for, but not without leaving something behind here with the South Node in Libra. This nodal axis is all about really learning or giving. It can be about giving up relationships or sometimes the way we relate to others in order to stand in our true power, in order to be more independent, although not necessarily giving up a relationship. That's going to depend on you guys, right? And so, yeah, firstly, the South and the North Node are always in opposition, and that is the true nature of them in order to bring balance, essentially in order to reach your true potential, which is here, which is what we are all striving for. We can call the North Node our destiny. That is, depending how we use our free will in this journey. So the Libra-Aries nodal axis tells us to let go of something in the way we relate to others or a relationship itself, as I mentioned. And we see the stellium here that is kind of shared by, some people argue about whether or not there's a bit of a stellium here with these planets right here and the planets here. But there's a lot going on here between Pisces and Aries, which is, across from Libra and Virgo. Venus is still in Scorpio, where Venus right here. Venus is still in Scorpio, where Venus can feel overpowered romantically and sexually, psychologically, of course, most likely, right? And it could also feel like a lover may be hiding things. And this is happening in the 12th house of the obscure, things that are hidden to begin with. And this is happening, it is a place where there is little clarity and where dreams and fantasy often, it's often blurred, right, between what is real. So Venus in the 12th house can feel their dreams and love may be coming true, but are they really? Yeah, this is very interesting here, especially after, which is really in front of this whole Libra new moon. So the energy of the eclipse can last up to 6 months for some of us. A full understanding can come over time. At the time of the new moon, Mars is in Cancer in the 8th house. Where is Mars? Right here. This is going to be the natural 8th house for this chart. And in the 8th house of intimate relationships, Mars doesn't feel comfortable in Cancer. And it is the ancient ruler of the 8th house. This is about relationships that have power struggles, possibly over money. It can be about things that are hidden. And Mars in Cancer often means that somebody may be behaving passive aggressively, right? Yeah, that's never a good thing. No, the moon is squaring Mars, and any issues with your mom or maybe a caregiver, right? It can be emotional, perhaps emotional. There can be tension with how we relate to our mothers or how we want to feel, or how we choose to kind of, or feeling important, or having harmony within our support system or with our mothers. Or whatever makes you feel safe or nurtured. Mars in Cancer also wants to meet their passionate desires at all costs. Yeah, this is very interesting because, as I said, Mars does not feel comfortable in Cancer. In a romantic relationship, Mars in Cancer can mean I need to satisfy my passionate desires in order to nurture me emotionally and to bring more harmony within. Neptune is down here, and Neptune is still in Pisces, asking us to release something, although it is retrograde. It's giving us more time to fully understand why we need change. It sextiles Pluto, which is over here, which is also retrograde. And Pluto is in the 2nd house of stability and values. Yeah, Neptune in Pisces is definitely right here, asking us to release something. And we see Neptune retrograde, but it will be moving again to the anaretic degree, the last degree of Pisces, which is forcing change. It is pushing change. It is pushing endings. It is pushing a release, and hopefully a release where we are ending something, but we are not sacrificing ourselves. We are sacrificing what really needs to go. So we see the sextile here with Neptune and Pluto. Pluto is in the second house of stability, resources, financial stability, or values. And let's have a look at that. Pluto's in Capricorn, so this is about what we want to achieve. There's an opportunity here in order to achieve and kind of move forward here. There is an opportunity here. It may be that we have to wait a little bit because both of these planets are retrograde, but there is a sextile here. Wow. Which does offer some type of opportunity. There's an opportunity to knock down old belief systems here in order to transform, for sure, and to stand in our true power, possibly through spirituality with Neptune and Pluto. So Uranus is in Taurus over here, sextiling Neptune, again very spiritual, and there's an opportunity for awakening our true soul as it relates to our everyday practical life, our health, and our work, as Taurus is ruling the 6th house at the time of the eclipse. And although this may feel disruptive, it is something that will bring lasting change and improvement to our lives. Saturn retrograde in Pisces is here, bringing that reality check that has been there for some time. But Saturn is reminding us of our lessons, and Saturn is bringing more structure to these transits. Jupiter is in the 7th house, which is here, the natural 7th, not the natural 7th house, the 7th house of this chart. And so we see, Jupiter in Gemini, and this is allowing expansion in relationships, improving the way we relate to others. But this is really asking us, do we have faith in these relationships? Do we have faith in this? In order to expand, there needs to be faith and a belief here, and to take a leap of faith here in order to expand those relationships or to improve the way we relate to others. It's asking us to believe in ourselves, and if we believe in the thing we most want, if we are willing to take a leap of faith here. So let's talk about the 12 signs. And for Aries, this is always, the new moons and, the full moons, all of that. It is always very personal to you, because here you are, and this is, this is in the zodiac, we call this the 1st house. So we see, for you, we see the eclipse happening in your 7th house of relationships. And this is more personal to you, as the nodal axis is taking place here between you and Libra. So we have Mars, your ruling planet, is in your natal 4th house, right here, ruled by Cancer. So this new moon and the eclipse, which can last up to 6 months, may feel emotional for you. It could. The eclipse is taking place in your 7th house of partnerships, and the moon is squaring Mars. Here is the moon squaring off with Mars, as I mentioned above, I believe. But you might find an insatiable need to satisfy both your sexual and your emotional needs. And the sun is pushing you to have courage and to take a leap of faith with the Sun-Mars square. And here is the sun squaring Mars as well. The eclipse will be about your relationships, Aries, most likely, or you're relating to your personal or your business relationships. Venus is in your 8th house of intimate relationships right here, and it is trining your ruling planet Mars. This is all about your relationships, once again, and how they either provide stability and balance or they don't. Mercury in your 7th house of relationships is squaring off with Mars. So this is asking you to pay attention whether or not you are letting your passions control you as they pertain to balance and harmony in your relationships. So for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, for you, Taurus, the eclipse is about creating balance. Here you are, here's your sign, is about creating balance with who and what relates to your daily life. The moon is in your 6th house of work, health, and your daily routine or your lifestyle. It's about the people you work with or live with, and the efficacy or the functionality between you. Your ruling planet Venus is in your house of relationships in Scorpio. Venus is in trine with Mars in your 3rd house of plans, goals, and willpower. And this is very favorable for you with Mars here. This can also relate to your siblings, your neighborhood, or your community. You may want to travel. Maybe you want to go on a trip here. But this can also talk about learning. Yeah, very interesting here. Yeah, this can talk about learning because this is going to be your 7th house right here, Taurus. So, yeah, and it is in trine with Cancer here. It is in trine with Mars over here. I just feel like this has to do with learning here about how you relate here. Maybe with others, maybe with neighbors or within your community. But this creates an understanding between you and your romantic partner. This is all about your drive, Taurus, as your drive is connected towards your goals. Yes, it is. Because we have Taurus, this is in your 3rd house. Mars is in your 3rd house of plans, goals, and willpower. Yes, definitely. All right. If you've been planning anything related to your finances, your money, this is a good time to move forward. So for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Gemini, the new moon eclipse is taking place in your 5th house. The 5th house is concerned with self-expression, romance, and creativity, fun, leadership, and family. So the 5th house rules the heart, and it's in Libra, the sign ruling relationships. Mercury, your ruling planet, is also in Libra. For you, Gemini, the eclipse will be about following your heart, and your heart will always take you in the right direction. And we have Mercury supporting your decisions regarding whatever you are letting go or whatever you are trying to move forward, whatever you're trying to move toward, or regarding how you relate to others. The sun is trining your 1st house of self, and here you are, Gemini, right here, your 1st house of self. This is making it easier for you to be authentic and show others what you want them to see about you, and perhaps having courage to ask for what you need in romantic relationships, creative ones, friendships, etc. So whatever plans you have, Gemini, it's a good time to act on those, and it's a time to be very clear. Yes, I feel like everything will be clear for you as the sun is here. All right, in this conjunction with Mercury, or in this stellium, right? So we have the sun joining forces with your natal planet, your ruling planet, Mercury. So yeah, for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, we have every lunar cycle is personal to you, Cancer, as you rule the moon. Here's the moon here, for sure, and the moon is in its own 4th house, Cancer, and the Libra new moon is asking you to be less emotional about what's going on in your life. So we have Libra, ruling your 4th house here, and on the day of the new moon, you could be feeling a little emotional here, but the Libra new moon is asking you to be less emotional. But this can be, but perhaps for the next 6 months going forward, there's something maybe that you need to be less emotional about. Yeah, it could be Cancer, because this eclipse can last up to 6 months. All that is taking place, Cancer, for you in Libra is nudging you to behave perhaps less emotionally in your relationships, and that might not be an easy thing for you to do, Cancer, as essentially you are about your emotions and your emotional support system, your mother and your family. Yeah, the South Node is also here conjuncting the Sun right here, Cancer, right here, showing you the need and giving you clarity about something you need to let go of. It is about partnerships and how they either nurture you or not, whether or not they bring balance or add to any insecurities. The Moon squaring Mars is creating tension for you. Here is the Moon squaring Mars over here, about how you show up in these relationships. This can relate to your own personal endeavors, creative, or how you make your money. It can be about your values and your beliefs, personal beliefs about yourself as well. This can be about being creative in relationships, and looking for creative solutions, how you express yourself, how you want to be understood, perhaps in order for you to feel more secure. So for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the Libra new moon is also personal to you because your ruling planet is in Libra, right? Your ruling planet, the Sun, is in Libra, giving you power, clarity in that Libra part of your life, or in the part that relates to all the important matters of yourself, right? Your ego perhaps, or how you, I don't mean in a bad way here, just how you identify with yourself and identify in relationships. So Libra is ruling your natal 3rd house of plans and goals. It can be family. We have your natal, the Sun is in Libra here, Leo. It can be family and how you communicate in your partnerships. You may feel a need to speak up for yourself, or that your style of communication needs to change. And so Leo, the Sun is very close to the South Node, showing you right here what needs to go. For sure, here is the Sun, here is the South Node. What needs to change perhaps, and it's squaring Mars in your 12th house of endings, release, and fogginess, or a lack of clarity. Yeah, this is showing you though here. Maybe you were unclear about it before, but I feel like you are getting most likely very clear on that. There may be something emotional and passionate that needs your attention as to your own inner harmony. Someone may not be fair with you, right? And the Sun trines the descendant, which is related to Libra, and balance and partnerships. So you might see, I feel like you're seeing all this very clearly. The Sun also opposes the North Node. So this is asking you to look clearly at whatever may need to be addressed, perhaps your own needs, or whatever it is you are moving toward in this journey, whatever you are striving for. Okay, so for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the eclipse is happening in your 2nd house of income, resources, values, and beliefs. Your values about relationships, Virgo, seem to be changing. I would have to see your chart to really pinpoint that. There's something you've learned and you're now leaving behind that you no longer value or believe in. Your ruling planet Mercury is supporting this, right? This is supporting your thoughts on this. This is supporting how you see this. This is supporting your rational view of this in Libra, and in the same house of money and values. Yes. And so Venus is in your 3rd house of plans, goals, and willpower and communication. But this is colored by Scorpio. This is influenced by Scorpio. Your style of communication with partners may be sweeter. You may have plans with a romantic partner. It could be a business partner with Mercury in Libra, but you're smarter in relationships, Virgo, definitely. You know how to communicate better. And Black Moon Lilith conjunct the Sun, you're accepting something about how you value a relationship. yeah, you're accepting something here, and it may have been possibly from about, related to things that you didn't really like about yourself. It's possible. And as I said, it looks like you are changing with this new moon and this solar eclipse. You could be realizing that money, Virgo, is not as important as your values, or perhaps love, possibly, or a relationship. And that balance is more important. You could simply feel, yeah, that love is more important for you. Yeah, I think I said that. So for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising Libra, this is really personal for you. The Sun and Moon are both in your sign. The Sun is showing you, and here you are over here. And here is the new Moon right here. And so the Sun is showing you something, especially as it conjoins the South Node. It could be something about yourself. I feel like you are definitely seeing something about yourself that you no longer want to hold on to, or possibly how you relate to others, lovers, business, etc. And Lilith can be showing you, once again, as I've been talking about Lilith here, about what you need to accept and maybe take a good look at. And, in order actually to step in your power, yeah, it's definitely not just to, look at it and go, wow, look at how I was, or something like that. It's definitely to step into your power as you relate in relationships. So there's something, as I have mentioned, that you might not like about your behavior as you relate or in your relationships. And the Sun and the South Node is asking you to see it, release it, to learn from it, as Mercury is there adding wit and intelligence. And Mercury is an air sign as well. So this is definitely supporting your decisions, supporting your viewpoint and your thoughts on whatever is going on, for you. Your ruling planet Venus, Libra, is in your second house of values, self-esteem, and it's in Scorpio. Scorpio is your in your Scorpio is here in your second. It is ruling your second house of intimate relationships. So this is definitely asking you about what you value in partnerships. Maybe they are not, maybe your values have changed as well. Okay, what do you believe in? Venus is asking you to embrace your desires, self-care. That's what, yeah. If it's been fear, to leave that behind and stand in your value. It can be to stand with your own self-esteem and your confidence in yourself. Venus also is in conjunct with the descendant, which is over here. Where is the descendant here? Gee, I don't see it now. In this particular chart, right? And so we see the descendant for this is actually, I can't even see it here right now. I can't really. I just don't see it right now, you guys. It's somewhere here on, it definitely is on the chart. Maybe it's not showing up. I'm using a different software with this. But let's see what else we have here, Libra, for you guys. Yeah, this is asking you about your values. So Venus, with this in conjunct with the descendant, which relates to you very much, Libra. The descendant is the seventh house of partnerships. It is, as it rules the seventh house for sure. There's something you need to see, or you may now just be aware of it that you didn't see in the past. I feel like that is what is coming to light for you with the Sun in your sign, in your first house. And the eclipse is very favorable for you, Libra, and you may feel it for the next 6 months. Okay, so for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the eclipse is happening in your 12th house of endings. And here that is for you, right, which is ruled by Libra, right? For sure, which is ruled by basically the theme of relationships or how we relate to others. So this eclipse is in your 12th house of endings, things that are hidden, secrets, intuition, and more, much more, right? This can be about sacrifice. The 12th house can be about sacrifice. It can be about transcendence. Definitely. So Libra ruling your 12th house, you could be experiencing a physical relationship that ends, or simply the way you show up in your relationships. Although Venus is in your first house, so for you, Scorpio, I hope I didn't say Libra. So for you, Scorpio, yeah, for most of you, this will be about romantic relationships. And you might be starting a new relationships and saying to yourself, I'm going to do this different this time going forward. Venus is trining your ancient ruler Mars right here. Venus in your sign, in your first house. And so we see the trine here. You might be looking at your relationships, assuring yourself, I'm going to satisfy myself this time, possibly, or I'm going to satisfy my romantic and sexual needs. Mars is in your 9th house of higher ideals, higher realms, spirituality, and philosophy. This has to do with your personal power as well. This can be you saying, I'm in a higher place right now spiritually, and I'm going to take back my power and enjoy everything in a relationship, everything I always wanted to, especially your sexual and your romantic needs. You're putting your emotional needs first, Scorpio, with this Venus-Mars trine, standing up for yourself inwardly, for sure you are, and maybe outwardly as well, for sure. There's a lot of self-care with Venus in your first house. And lastly, Scorpio, Pluto, your ruling planet, is helping you to transform your plans. Yeah, here's Pluto here in your 3rd house of plans, goals, and willpower. This can be about learning, can be about travel. Sometimes it has to do with siblings. It is about your communication, can be your communication style. So Pluto's retrograde, although Pluto's retrograde at 29 degrees of Capricorn, this is highly interesting. It is at the last anaretic degree of Capricorn, which is highly powerful, but it is retrograde. This is very meaningful here. And so your goals to achieve, and this is helping you to transform those plans and your goals and to achieve with it being in Capricorn. Also, maybe your style of communication, as I said. And so Pluto retrograde at 29 degrees of Capricorn, whatever lessons you've learned, this is going to bring major transformation for you, especially when Pluto moves into Aquarius on November 19th this year. When the sun will be in your sign, yes, a lot of good things are coming for you, Scorpio. All right, so Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the new moon eclipse is happening in your 11th house of hopes and gains, social networks. This can be about relationships, it can, friendships as well, and the future. You're definitely moving on or letting go of a particular way of being. Perhaps the eclipse is supporting your future, Sagittarius. Here it is. Right? It could be through a major realization or some type of instability that causes you to see something. Your ruling planet Jupiter is in your 7th house of partnerships. Jupiter is offering expansion in that area of your life. It can be about the way you relate to others, of course, but Jupiter is asking you to have faith and to believe in this in order for you to experience growth and expansion. Yes, and Chiron is in your 5th house of romance. Right here, here's Chiron. This is your 5th house of, is in your 5th house of romance, creativity, and self-expression. Chiron is sextiling Jupiter. There's something that you are like majorly improving on here when it comes to either romance or your self-expression. It can be related to your creative endeavors, where before you were feeling maybe vulnerable around those areas of your life. Here is Chiron sextiling Jupiter, your own ruling planet. So this is offering up an opportunity for you. Yes. It could also help you improve the way you communicate in relationships. Or as I mentioned, something you felt vulnerable about, or was holding you back in some way. Both the 5th and the 7th houses are connected to relationships. Could be romantic or business, right? Could be. But you're confident. Usually this is romantic. Your confidence seems higher because of an understanding of how something was curtailing you or slowing you down with your vision here, with Jupiter here. Your vision of the future and the eclipse happening in the 11th house of the future. So for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the eclipse is happening in your 10th house. And you rule the 10th house. You are the ruler of the natural 10th house. Here we see it flavored by Libra, right? So, and so the 10th house is about achievement, career, the father, the past, lessons learned, and restriction. Yeah. You're most likely changing or showing up at work, Capricorn, or maybe how you want to kind of, maybe your legacy or your reputation. You are most likely changing or showing up at work, or as I said, those things that I mentioned, in a different way. You may be relating to bosses or leaders differently, knowing that it's necessary in some way. And this could be about not giving too much energy or giving too much of yourself to your work in order to create a life-work balance. Yeah, which is always really important, right? Your natal ruler, Saturn, is in your 3rd house of communication. Where is Saturn? Right here. And this is in your 3rd house, although flavored by, or influenced, I should really say, by Pisces. Very interesting. But this is about your creative, this can definitely be about your creative endeavors. And this can be about, because we have it in Pisces, this can also, this can talk about, the 3rd house is also about learning short distance travel, your siblings and your community. It's possible you want to take a trip here, Capricorn, maybe a short distance here. But this is adding creativity to your goals and your plans. It really is for you. Yeah, this is, I see this as something good here. Saturn is conjunct the IC, right? We call this the inner heaven. So family matters can be peaceful. Your own emotions may be feeling balanced at the time of the eclipse, definitely. And Venus is trining Saturn. Where is Venus? Right here in Scorpio. But this is, showing up in your 11th house of the future. Here is, and social networks. So this can definitely be about love here. This can be about self-care, self-expression, as it relates to the future, possibly. But we see the trine here with your natal Saturn, allowing some type of ease in your life. This can be business partnership related. Okay, so for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the eclipse is happening in your 9th house of spirituality, philosophy, higher realms, and education, and also long-distance travel. So whatever has been unstable for you regarding family or your emotional support system is being shown to you, Aquarius. It may be through an awakening or spiritual practices. You're learning how to move forward. Here you are, Aquarius, right here. And so you're learning, and here's the eclipse happening for you, right, in that 9th house. Yes, and it could be through an awakening or spiritual practices. You're learning how to move forward and expand your life easier, understanding that change is important. So with the eclipse in your 9th house, change is important regarding something specific for you, Aquarius, I believe, because you guys are okay with change, ruled by Uranus, the 11th house of the future, right? So with the eclipse in your 9th house, ruled by Libra, you could be letting go of a relationship you no longer have faith in, or ones that make you feel like your own personal expansion is more difficult with those people in your life. The eclipse is happening in another air sign, Aquarius, so this is, it is cerebral to some degree, right? And your ruling planet, Uranus, and this is supporting you as well, the eclipse happening in a fellow air sign. Your ruling planet, Uranus, is at 26 degrees of Taurus, causing some type of change that happens on its own. and it's moving toward the 29th degree. It is still at 26 degrees. Uranus is here. It is retrograde. So definitely moving slow, or a timeout is happening. But eventually this will bring the change that is so necessary. But it will cause some degree of instability for you before that, before the actual event takes place, or this favorable change can happen for you. Pluto is at 29th degrees of Capricorn. Where is Pluto? Here is Pluto here, moving into your own sign on November 19th. And Pluto is asking you to allow something personal to end, or to move fully into your power by November 19th. Yeah, it definitely could be. That's very interesting here. Maybe you can let that happen for yourself after, right? Once Pluto has, Pluto will be in Aquarius for some time, for years. Yes, it will. But let's, and so, yes, it will. Whatever you allow to transform about yourself, Aquarius, is connected to your emotional support system, and will definitely support that. And so the moon squares off. Where is the moon? Right here. It is squaring off. It is, we call this a square and a half with Uranus. Here is Uranus, your ruling planet. There can be a little bit of a struggle between change and your emotions, or your security, you see, and that is kind of what I was already hitting on. So, but during the eclipse, there can be a little bit of struggle between what you know probably needs to change here, and your emotional state, right? And change is not easy for, it's not really easy for anybody if we really kind of get real, right? Yeah, not really. And so for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, here you are, Pisces, and the solar eclipse is happening in your 8th house of intimate relationships. Here is the eclipse happening over here. And you know, you are all about, you are yourself are about intimate relationships, always wanting to merge. Pisces wants to merge with their fantasy, really, or they do, right? And so we see here this happening, influenced by Libra, which is about relationships, you know, as I've been saying. But there's something deep in your psyche right here, Pisces, because we have Neptune here. There's something deep in your psyche that needs to be left behind, because this is happening in the 8th house. We can call the 8th house the house of the psyche. We can, as it is the natural house under Scorpio. Scorpio is about death, life and death, the psyche, things that are hidden deep in our psyche, as well as you are as well, Pisces. You are also about the psyche, for sure. And your intuition. And so whatever that is, something deep in your psyche, you know, that needs to be left behind. The sun is showing you that, Pisces. Over here, the sun is, you know, shedding its clarity for you. You might feel like you need to show up differently in relationships, either ones where there is money involved, or shared resources, possibly. This can be about your personal power as well, because the 8th house rules power. It can be your earned income, or intimate relationships as well. Whatever the case, you're leaving something behind in order to have a more hopeful outlook for the future. That's very cool. And there's a practical understanding too, Pisces, or the need for one, could be, right? I feel like with this eclipse, you're going to be shown a lot. That may have to do with relating to others, and how that influences your daily life. You could definitely be seeing that, and I feel like you are seeing that and understanding that change is important, and possibly how you take leadership or ownership of your own life. Could be because your 6th house is showing up here. Virgo is here. Yeah, I'm not sure how. Okay, the 6th house here, your practical ownership of your life. That's what's going on here, and because we have Mercury here in your 8th house. Yeah, so this is about your practical, and that is ruling We can say that Mercury rules the 6th house of Virgo. This is not necessarily, this is your 8th house, but Mercury rules that. Mercury is showing you with much intelligence here that you need to be a little bit more practical in your relationships or how you are dealing with them and your daily life. This is showing you, right? And that's not always easy for Pisces to do. Pisces is not necessarily practical. Pisces is an emotional sign. I feel like this eclipse is showing you a lot, Pisces. And so the Uranus-Neptune sextile, along with the Neptune sextile to Pluto, that's bringing change into your life both quickly and slowly. Yeah, that's very interesting. You could be learning things kind of, boom, 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 quickly. And then you realize, too, that you are changing slowly and that you are learning things over time. Uranus, the planet of the future, is here kind of shaking up your house of plans and goals, but it's letting you see through the veil of society and how that may affect your own goals. There's an opportunity here for you, Pisces. The Neptune-Pluto sextile is allowing you to be more pioneering about your own future. And so I hope that was helpful for the 12 signs. Thank you so much for joining me. And in the next video, I'll talk more about the transits and the horoscope for the 12 signs as the transits relate to each of you. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining me. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the little bell in order to receive all my notifications.